Hi guys, Tab here. Hope you're all keeping well. Thank you very much for watching. Welcome to the video. In this one, I want to discuss what I think is absolutely the supercar bargain of the century right now, without doubt. But before I get there, before I reveal what it is, afterwards I'm going to discuss some of the caveats and things you should look out for if indeed you are considering one of these cars, if you're fortunate enough to be considering one, because believe me, it could be a very, very pleasant ownership experience indeed. Now, there was a video put out onto YouTube recently from two other guys talking about the fastest depreciating supercars. And this car came in at number one. Now, I do question some of the facts and figures they used, because they said one of these cars could be around about 400k new. The only way one of these is going to be 400k new is if you leave a Fabergé egg in the glove box by mistake. Yeah, I don't quite know where they got that from, but yeah, if you haven't worked it out, the car in question is indeed a McLaren 720S. Now, what a car it is. And if you look now on Auto Trader, you will see that there are 58 cars at the time of making this video, 58 cars available for sale in the UK, ranging from a bonkers sort of 260k right down to a level at which it starts to get very interesting indeed. That sort of 150, 140k mark. It's hard not to look at it and think, wow, I can get a car like that for that much money. I appreciate, it's not a bargain when you look at the amount of money involved. It's not a £30,000 car. It is a very expensive car, but the amount of car you're getting for that much money is absolute insanity in my book. It is such good value for money. There is no escaping the temptation to try and get your hands on one. Now, I would have said recently that a 570S is a great value as well. They are very, very cheap now, but a 720S is a level above and then some. It is almost hypercar territory. If you look at the numbers, 710 brake horsepower. It's called the 720S because 720 Förderstärken. I think 568 pound-foot of torque. It does the 0 to 124 dash in 7.8-ish seconds there or thereabouts, which is crazy speed. It's powered by the M840T engine, so V8, twin turbo, flat plane, based on that Nissan race engine, a bigger version of the M838 that you find in the 570S. And believe me, the torque in the 720S is at another level. It is absolutely insane. They're such fast cars. Performance out of this world. And then to look at them, they are absolutely stunning cars. The lines they cut, just out of this world. And of course, they've got that mad active aero spoiler on the back that rises and falls, which just looks so cool out on the road. If you find or see one of these on the road, you cannot escape the road presence they have. They're so low, they're so wide, they just look like they're out of this world. And you can get one now for, 150k there or thereabouts. So, if you are considering one of these cars right now, what are the things you should look out for? So, on Auto Trader, you can spend 260 grand on a car, right? A 720S, I should be specific. It is the topic of this video. You can spend that on one now, but you will suffer from depreciation if you do so. If you buy a car at that level, it is going to depreciate some more, probably significantly more, right? There is no escaping the depreciation that currently exists when buying a McLaren. It's an unfortunate situation. I'm sure McLaren don't like it. They're taking steps to try and rectify that with the reliability of the Artura, even though that's just had a recall. That's another story, but it's not yet released properly. They're trying to get it right so that the cars work well and those used values remain high. But a 720S at that level is going to depreciate. So if you've got a 720S itch to scratch, my advice would be to get one around the 150k mark if you want to get your hands on one of these cars. A bit more if you want a better spec one, but at that level, you aren't, hopefully, fingers crossed, going to lose too much money. if anything, if the market corrects, gets better, you might even make a little bit. If people think, wow, these cars are amazing, and they start to get that hype curve back, who knows? But that level, getting in at that level should be relatively safe, okay? Because you shouldn't get that depreciation hit, and you will be in an awesome car that is a lot of fun to enjoy. So that's the first thing you need to really consider, is what level you want in at for this car. Can you afford that depreciation, or do you just want to get in a safe bet to enjoy that car? The other thing to look out for is, of course, the dreaded aluminium corrosion that McLarens do suffer from. I had it on my 570S, and it does exist. So you need to check the bodywork inside out, right? Real fine tooth comb. Check for any of those little telltale bubbles of the paint, those little white marks that are indeed aluminium corrosion. If the car is under 5 years old, McLaren will fix it under warranty. If it's out of 5 years old, if it's beyond 5 years old, you're on your own, and it can be very expensive, sometimes thousands of pounds just for a single panel. So do bear that in mind. Really have to do your homework and look at the car very carefully. If it's already been in for aluminium corrosion work, that's a good thing, but it can recur, it can appear at any point, so just bear that in mind. With regards to warranty, obviously you get the 3-year McLaren warranty. Outside of that, you'll be buying your own warranty, and you're going to have to buy one for these cars, because if something goes wrong, it can be very expensive. So warranty is about £4,000 there or thereabouts. I'm being rough here because there's third parties that will do you one a bit cheaper. But the McLaren warranties are roughly sort of 4,000, I think 3,800, something like that. But that's per annum, and you need that to ensure that should something go wrong with the car, you are indeed covered, because this is a hypercar level almost, and putting things that go wrong right can be very expensive indeed. So please bear that in mind. In terms of mileage, go for one that is about right for the age, nothing too high. Maybe nothing too low as well either, because that could just be a kind of garage queen that's sat there. And I don't know if these cars like being sat around doing nothing for ages. I think they like to be out being driven, being used. Certainly that was my experience. If they're left for any significant amount of time, you haven't got them on charge, things die, things break, so just get them out and use them. You're going to want to look to see what kind of usage it's had, right? That's very important. Also, don't get one that's been tuned or modified in any way, shape or form. And I say that just to be a bit safe. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad if it has been. There's plenty of reputable tuners out there, the likes of Litchfield, Thorny Motorsports, plenty of good tuners, but you kind of don't know what else has been done to that car. And stock, these are bonkers enough, right? So get one stock, and if you want to tune it, please do go ahead. You'll enjoy it, but get one stock. There's all kinds of additional add-ons. You can get some carbon bits here and there. Just get one that you think is right, the spec is right for you. That is very important, okay? Can't stress that enough. Do not go for one that has been tuned or fettled with. Another thing to look out for here is indeed the spider versions of the cars, and that Gorilla Glass on the top sits above your head, right? Don't get one with those. They crack. The glass cracks, and it's not a warranty fix. You're on your own with that one, and that's very, very expensive bill to put that right. I've seen a lot of bills for those, and yes, it is a wince-inducing figure. There is no escaping it. So don't get one with the Gorilla Glass if you're going for a spider. Okay, that is very important. One last thing to look at as well is these cars are known for the accumulators to fail. It's a suspension component, and you'll notice it. You'll start to get warnings on the dash, and the handling will indeed be affected. So check that it might have had those done at some point. If it has, it's probably a good thing, because it means you won't have to, and that can be quite expensive as well. But generally, these cars are pretty bulletproof in terms of the engine and the drivetrain. If they're well looked after, if they're well serviced, well maintained, you shouldn't really have anything to worry about. Tuned ones might have a habit of something going wrong with the engine. Yes, you've probably seen videos on YouTube of cars with tunes and the engines kind of fail, they give way. But if it's been well looked after, well oiled, well serviced, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. And it will be a massively rewarding experience. Believe me, the feeling of owning one of these cars, if you're a car head, is indescribable. Competition-wise, you might be looking at, for example, a Ferrari F8 Tributo, which is crazy money to get into. Shouldn't depreciate too much. So that is probably kind of the level that you're looking at here. A 720S ownership experience, real head turner. The other McLaren owners are a fantastic bunch of people, really helpful. No aloofness. It's really good community to be a part of, right? So bear that in mind. Servicing costs, again, vary wildly depending on where you take it. If it's a McLaren dealership, you're probably going to be budgeting about 1,000, 1,200-ish a year for your servicing needs, depending on what needs doing. But there's plenty of places that will do you a service, third party, and do a very good job of it. But as I say, awesome car right now, going for an absolute bargain. So do make sure it's on your list. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.